Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Thursday, October 26, 2023. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is the LaCroix Poppy himself, a.k.a. Tim motherfucking Geddes.
Happy 23rd birthday to the American release of the PlayStation 2. It was 23 years ago today.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say The Blueprint by Jay-Z.
No,
I was like, oh, it's been that long?
Somewhere around there.
It's been
that was 2001.
Longer. Yeah, so it's been like 22 years.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, the PS2 is older than that, which is crazy.
How old? So the PS2 you said is what, 21?
23.
23 years old.
Yeah, came out in the year 2000. Wow. October 26, 2000. That big, beautiful blue box.
That makes me feel old.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know people in chat go, you're not old, but that makes me feel old. Because, yeah, like I remember when that came out.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's a lot, man. It came out, being in San Francisco when it came out was like extra special because back then it was the Sony Metreon with the PlayStation Store. So it was like the hub of everything, like all the news coverage and stuff was there. And it was like, wow, this is cool. I didn't get one.
You ever think about there's been more time passed between now and Super Mario Sunshine than Super Mario Sunshine in the original Super Mario Brothers game?
I think about that way too often.
Yeah,
way too often. And now we have Super Mario Wonder. I was thinking about that game a lot recently. Yeah? Mario Wonder. I wonder why. And I was thinking, do you think that they named it that because of the one? Like, I'm sure they named it because of Wonder Seed. Like, there's so much magical senses, like all that stuff. But did they also do it because like it sounds like Super Mario Brothers 1? Like, this is like in the same way that there was new Super Mario Brothers. This was like trying to like get people to think it's like the first of a new step in this franchise.
That implies that the next one is going to be called Super Mario Brothers Tunder. And I can't get behind that. That's the thing. Get behind
but I don't even think necessarily it needs to do that. The next one could just be something different.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still rooting for Tunder, though.
They went Tunder. Nintendo's officially the goats. I would bow down to the face of Doug Bowser. Be like, you did it again.
You did it again.
But also, like, after playing this game, I think I fully expect Super Mario Brothers Wonder 2. Yeah. At least I would be totally down for Super Mario Brothers Wonder 2. Like, this was such a delightful shift for 2D Mario, and like, the fact that every level has a gimmick, every level has a Wonder Flower that like activates something, and like there's something cool happening. I love the fact that like moment to moment there's something that is making me smile in this game, and I don't want the next 2D Mario to lose that. Like, I think we got one or two more wonders in us before we move on to the next thing. I know you might disagree because
no, I mean, my thing is I would love it. I want more of this because I love it so much, but I hope that the next one's not a Wonder 2. I hope it's something completely different because I feel like that's what makes Nintendo and 2D Mario special, is when it is different and when they are just like, yo, let's get real creative and wacky with this. It's rare that Nintendo just follows up one of its Mario games, or any of its games really, with just another one. And I feel like one of the only examples of that succeeding is Galaxy. But then you look at the new series and not so much.
Wonder has been making me think about my Mario ranking, which I don't think I've ever like laid out a full top 10 Mario games. But like, I think in terms of 2D Mario, it's probably my third favorite. Like, I think after 3 and then World, I think I'm probably going to put Wonder for myself. And then like, if I was to include 3D Marios and stuff, like, I think Wonder might be battling it out with Galaxy for me.
Dang, that's nuts.
Like, in terms of placement. I mean, Odyssey I have above Galaxy, which I don't know if that's a hot take or not. I just love Odyssey.
I feel like I don't think it's a hot take. I think it's a take. Yeah, it's a respectable take.
Yeah,
like, I feel like I can see the argument for it.
I'm just somebody who I value the openness of it so much, right? Yeah. Like, I like being able to explore and discover new things and like have the open levels.
Odyssey or Wonder?
Odyssey or Wonder? Odyssey.
Yeah, is that even a question?
No.
Yeah.
Odyssey is like far above Wonder for me. But like, I think maybe Wonder might be right below Odyssey though. That's the thing, is under Odyssey I would have put a Galaxy 2. Yeah. And I think now that might be Wonder and then Galaxy 2.
I need to replay the Galaxy games again.
Some good games.
Yeah. What a time to be alive.
What a time to be alive.
Speaking of times to be alive.
Somebody said Mario RPG soon.
Yeah, it is.
I was talking about this last night. Last night I was hanging out with Imran, Reb, Michael, and Natalie, and we were talking about just like, oh yeah, what does the rest of the year look like? Oh man, somebody asked me, are you done after Spider-Man 2? Like, is it all over? And I'm like, oh, I just started Alan Wake 2 and it's really good and I'm kind of obsessed with it. And I was like, I guess like Mario RPG comes out, and then they started talking about Chrono Trigger, and now they've convinced me to play Chrono Trigger because I've never played all the way through Chrono Trigger. Yeah, the OG.
Ooh,
yeah, and so I think I might try to make that my Christmas break game.
Yeah, I do feel like there's going to be an HD 2D remake though sooner than later.
See, I brought that up and they're all like, no, the OG holds up though. Like, they're like,
it does hold up for sure.
Michael and Imran and Reb were like, yo, you know, like, this is one where you wouldn't, like, if this game came out as an indie game today, you wouldn't bat an eye and it would be up there for like Game of the Year nominees. I'm like, fuck, dude. All right, maybe you're convincing me.
Yeah, that's exciting. But last night while you were doing that, we did the Square Pie Guys Extra Life meetup.
Yeah. Oh, did you go?
I did. Kind of Funny's first meetup in like 4 years because of COVID and everything. And it was awesome seeing everybody. Such a great turnout, such great people hanging out. It was so special to see Roger at his first meetup ever, and like just seeing the light and the glow in his eyes as like people like talk to him and were like congratulating him on like edits he's done. I'm like, this is awesome. And I saw him post an
Instagram story that was like best day ever. And I'm like, man, I've never had FOMO so hard.
Yeah, man, it was really, really fun, really special. Square Podcast is awesome, food and people, everything. But yeah, such a great group of people.
One day I'll go to my
excited to meet all y'all last night. Yeah, we'll have to make it happen sometime.
Yeah, we'll do it. But for now, let's talk about some video game news, because today's stories include an Alan Wake 2 review roundup, Xbox has a new president, and more, because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kinda Funny Games Daily. Remember, you can use Epic Creator Code Kinda Funny on all Epic Store and Epic in-game purchases like Rocket League and Fortnite to help support the channel. To be a part of the show, head to kindafunny.com/KFGD to write in with your questions, squad ups, and more. And remember, patreon.com/kindafunny will get you the show ad-free, plus a bevy of bonus content. Housekeeping for you today. Greg's joining the Jabroni Boys to stream a brand new Ghostbusters game. That's right, Ghostbusters, and it's misspelled here, is Exhaustbusters. Greg doesn't know where to put an S. Man, look at that guy. Doesn't know how to use a keyboard. Rise of the Ghost Lord is out tomorrow, and we're all suiting up to play in a sponsored stream. Catch it live after KHD or later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. New PS I Love You XOXO is up right now, and it's our Alan Wake 2 review so far, featuring the one and only Parris Lily. That is, of course, over on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. In case you missed it, Kinda Funny Xcast yesterday was our reaction and breakdown of Xbox's partner preview event, and that's over on youtube.com/kindafunnygames. And then, as a reminder, you can get some cool KF Halloween merch right now on kindafunny.com/store. Over on Patreon, a new Kinda Feudy is up where I asked the crew to name a Naughty Dog villain, and you won't believe what the #1 answer is. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Jedi Master Deadpool and Delaney Twining. Today we're brought to you by BetterHelp, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 6 stories today.
A baker's dozen!
You killed that, Kevin.
Killed that.
Absolutely killed it. Story number 1. We're going to start off with an Alan Wake 2 review roundup for you. Right now on Metacritic, it is sitting at an 89. On OpenCritic, it is sitting at a 90. Tristan Ogilvy at IGN gave it a 9 out of 10 and says, Alan Wake 2 delivers one of the boldest and most brain-bending survival horror storylines this side of Silent Hill 2. Presents it with uniformly immaculate art direction and audio design, and reinvigorates the series' signature light-based shooting as though it's been locked and loaded with a fresh pack of energizers. Even though its skill upgrade systems seem a little superfluous, and there are a few repeated cliches in Saga's story that stuck in my craw, I nonetheless found both sides of this twisted tale to be endlessly fascinating, frequently fear-inducing, and consistently surprising. Alan Wake 2 is a superb survival horror sequel that makes the cult classic original seem like little more than a rough first draft by comparison.
Damn.
Mark Delaney at GameSpot gave it a 10 out of 10 and says, the idea...
We don't have time, Bless.
Oh, I'm making time. The idea of what Alan Wake 2 could be has changed so much over the years. But in playing the game, I was reminded of Sam Lake saying how he was so happy that all the previous versions of this game never worked out, and how excited he was that this is the Alan Wake 2 the world has finally received.
Awesome.
I have to emphatically agree. The mere existence of Alan Wake 2 would have, at different points over the years, felt like a minor miracle, but for it to be this one, that feels singular in its achievements, and coming from a studio that refuses to shy away from the paths less traveled, makes Alan Wake 2 a miracle illuminated. That's writing right there.
Dang, dude. Honestly,
That's
Mark
bars.
Delaney went off.
Mark Delaney found a passion in this thing, and I appreciate
that is
it.
awesome, man.
And then Josh West at Games Radar gave it 5 out of 5 stars and says, Alan Wake 2 is a strange, imaginative, and truly ambitious sequel that never fails to upend your expectations. While some of the bigger concepts presented by Remedy Entertainment lack refinement, a few rough edges don't detract from a consistently confident and startlingly original adventure. You won't find anything else quite like Alan Wake 2 this generation.
Dang. Plus, you've been playing a bit of this.
A bit of it, yeah.
I know you guys did your review or so far on PS I Love You yesterday. I didn't get to hear it all, though. Or I heard many people's thoughts. I haven't heard yours, though. Where are you at with this game?
Yeah, like, it's one that I booted up reluctantly. Like, for me, after what this review season has been, I got kind of tired after Spider-Man 2 and even after Mario Wonder, right? Where I'm playing all these great games and I'm like, okay, I think I've gone through the motions. I think I've exposed myself to video games. I'm gonna take a break. I don't think I need to play Alan Wake 2. You know, that's one that I think I'm fine skipping out on. And after I beat Mario Wonder, I got curious and I was like, I just want to take a peek in there to like see what's going on in Alan Wake 2. From minute 1, I was captivated. I was like, damn, all right, what the fuck is going on here? I am liking the vibe. I'm liking the tone. I am liking like the mystery that I'm immediately met with. And from there, I kept going and I just couldn't stop, right? And like I'm at a place where I'm still very early on in the game. I'm like about past 3 hours in. So I'm like, I'm nowhere like near deep into this game, but I am excited to get back to it. I'm excited to like keep digging into this mystery. I mentioned on the review that like it's pairing so well with me watching through The Fall of House of Usher, which is another Netflix series, a Mike Flanagan series, right? So it's horror, it's spooky, it's fitting with like the vibes of where we're at in October and the fall. But then also it's a show that like makes you think moment to moment about what's about to happen, what is this leading to, what are your theories, right? Like that's a show that I recommended, like, yo, watch that with a friend, because if you're like, you want the back and forth of being like, oh, but like, what if this person is this? And like, what if this is an allegory for this? What if this is a biblical reference to here, right? I'm having like the same motions while playing Alan Wake 2. And I think the thing that has me excited about playing through, and the thing that feels refreshing about Alan Wake 2 compared to, I would say, pretty much any other game I've played this fall, with maybe like a couple exceptions, is that like the writing just has me so intrigued and so engaged. Like the moment-to-moment performances and dialogue and narrative threads are so fascinating and so interesting, and you know, it feels like it's trying to dig a layer deeper than what we usually get in video games. It reminds me of like playing Disco Elysium for the first time and being like, yo, they wrote the fuck out of this.
Yeah.
Like, they're in their bag right now. It feels like I am listening and reading poetry right now playing this game. Alan Wake 2 feels like I am playing what a Mike Flanagan Netflix show is, but it's Sam Lake and he's making a video game, right? And like he knows what he's doing in that medium and really making something that's truly special for what he's doing.
Dang, Wes.
Yeah. I'm so excited to like keep playing this thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. My biggest hesitation to it is I don't really like the Twin Peaks, like it's so weird that sometimes I'm like, I need some logic. I need some understanding of this happened, which caused that.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is something that I should give a shot?
I think you're still going to run into that, right? Of like a lot of ethereal stuff going on, a lot of stuff where I'm again, being early in this game, just knowing the kind of game it is and having played through Control, and I really love Control as well, right? But like knowing what this game is, I wouldn't be surprised if you finish this game and you don't have all the answers you want.
Got it.
You know, like it strikes me as it could be one of those stories, but maybe it like
that could be cool.
That could be cool, and also like maybe you do get answers, and maybe those answers are really cool. Like I don't know where it's gonna go with that stuff. I will say, like as I've been playing this game, I've been thinking about you in particular, and I'm like, I think Tim would really dig.
Okay,
dig
shit,
this.
I gotta give it a try.
Like one for the fact that you're such a Resident Evil person,
Mm-hmm.
you like the modern Resident Evil games and the classic Resident Evil games. And like this is, as a survival horror thing, taking a lot of influence from a Resident Evil 4. You know, it's that kind of game, but it's taking that, and the way I put it in the review is that it's taking that, and it feels like in the way that we've gotten so many games influenced by Resident Evil, right? Like we've gotten Dead Space, we've gotten Last of Us, we've gotten so many other games that are that type of survival horror, or that type of like, you know, behind the back or over the shoulder, like, you know, limited resources kind of game. This feels like it's a really inspired version of that, and it made like booting it up like made me think about how far we've come, just in terms of like that genre and in terms of video games in general. But the fact that you can make that and also make it a detective thing and make it a true crime thing and make it Twin Peaks-ish and also fill in like all this fascinating narrative, right? Like it's been very cool playing RE4 Remake at the top of the year to like see where these things came from, and now play Alan Wake 2 toward the end of the year and go, man, like it all comes full circle. Like the influence is real.
Damn,
so,
this is definitely the best year for survival horror. Alan Wake 2, RE4 Remake, Dead Space. Damn, insane. Man, that's awesome.
And thank God we got Callisto Protocol out the way last year. You know what I mean? I like Callisto Protocol, but you're definitely right.
What's funny here, Bless, is a couple weeks ago we did our Game Awards predictions just for what we thought the top 6 were going to be on Gamescast, and it was me, you, Andy, and Greg. Greg and Andy both put Alan Wake 2 on their list. Me and you did not. Do you regret that?
I do regret it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I put on my list.
Your list is Spider-Man 2, Street Fighter 6, Final Fantasy 16, Mario Wonder, Zelda, and Baldur's Gate. We all had Zelda and Baldur's Gate.
Okay.
And then the other 4 were different.
If I had to venture to guess, I might replace
Street Fighter.
I might replace FF16 on that
Really?
list. Yeah, and put Alan Wake 2.
You think Street Fighter 6 is over Final Fantasy 16 for the Game Awards?
If I had to predict?
Yeah.
I think people, if I had to predict, it's the thing where fighting games are so niche that I don't think that Street Fighter doesn't make it. But my thing with FF16 is that it almost reminds me of Starfield in a way, where like Starfield, you either love it or you hate it, right? There's almost no in between. With FF16, I think there's enough people that love it and enough people that are like, production-wise, budget-wise, like they are putting everything into this, but either their complaint is like, oh, it's not a JRPG, or like the side quests feel kind of light or whatever, right? Or like maybe the story didn't hit with them. Like I can kind of see where those things would fall for people. I think honestly, if I had to guess, I think the more likely thing is neither of those between Street Fighter 6 or FF16. Like,
dang,
I think maybe even like, and I hate to say it, but like a Starfield could.
I mean, yeah, my list is Zelda, Baldur's Gate, Starfield, Final Fantasy 16, Spider-Man 2, Mario Wonder.
Yeah.
Looking at that, Alan Wake 2, seeing these reviews and hearing the way the game's being talked about, I'm like, oh, I think I might have fucked up. I don't know what I'd switch out there, though.
Yeah. Control was nominated in 2019, right?
Yeah.
Kind of funny, like, if I'm wrong about that. Granted, 2019, different year from 2023.
Yeah, very different.
But also, like, these are the same people voting.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, for those people that voted for Control, they're going to play Alan Wake 2. And I've already heard and seen plenty of people be like, yeah, this is a step up from Control. And so if that's the case, I think those people are going to fall in love. Because that's the thing that Alan Wake 2 has, right? Like, I think critics love to be critics. And in that conversation, right? Like, we love to be hipsters. We love to, like, reward. And, like, it's not that playing Alan Wake 2 makes you hipster, right? But, like, we like to look at art and go, what is something that's going for it in art, right? I think Spider-Man 2 is going to get into it because Spider-Man 2 is Spider-Man 2, right? And it has the popularity, and it has, like, you just love playing a third-person action open world game, right? It's a fun game. I think Mario's gonna get in there because it's an excellent Mario game, right? And, like, it's fucking incredible. Zelda and Baldur's Gate, I don't even need to elaborate on, but I think Alan Wake 2 has the got the stuff. It's got the stuff. Like, this is a game that I'll show Roger Ebert and go, see, I told you.
I told you, Roger.
I told you, Roger. And so I think that's what gets Alan Wake 2 in there. But honestly, I think there are so many different ways it can go for Game of the Year nomination.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's gonna be an exciting
I'll
time,
definitely
man.
replace one of my games with Alan Wake 2 in there. So we'll see. We'll also see this question from itzaMeBT, who writes in. That is Brian Thomas. He writes into KFGD and says, I was originally going to skip Alan Wake 2, but the overwhelmingly positive reviews have caught my attention and piqued my interest for the game. I loved Control, and I love detective thrillers similar to HBO's True Detective, and I'm a giant scaredy cat when it comes to survival horror. I do not usually enjoy the jump scares and grotesque nature that comes with something like Resident Evil, but with Alan Wake 2 seemingly blending both of those genres, do you think that narrative and detective aspects of the game outweigh the survival horror aspects enough to warrant a playthrough? Thanks for all you do, BT. I mean, I think Alan Wake 2 isn't as scary as other games, right? Like, I would say Resident Evil 4 has more grotesque and more, like, gross stuff going on in it. I think for me, Alan Wake 2, the most scary thing about it has been some of the jump scares. And the jump scares aren't necessarily like there's a monster that appears out of nowhere. It's more so just like visual flair where you'll be playing and then all of a sudden a face pops up on the screen and goes away. I think those are the kind of things that, like, have startled me at first, but I've gotten very used to. And so I think you can probably go into Alan Wake 2 and be pretty fine. But yeah, like if if horror in general, like if you are a big scaredy cat, then I could see it being a problem. But
Are
I
there
think
a lot of ghosts?
I mean, not so. Well, yeah, there are, but
Yeah.
like not scary ghosts. There's like black apparitions, like shadows, essentially, like shadows kind of hanging out.
Do they need to be busted?
I would say yeah. Like you can probably bust those ghosts. Maybe bust out like a flashlight, or like if you have a proton pack, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm not far enough to know if there's a proton pack in this game.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
This guy, Greg Miller. He spent how much money did he spend on that? Because I'm now noticing some of the lights and some of the things that are on
There's a lot going on.
Oh God. Jesus Christ. Twitch.tv/Kinda Games. Right after this, we're gonna be streaming some Ghostbusters. For now,
Love it.
story number 2. Alan Wake 2 dev Remedy confirms 2 expansions are coming in 2024.
Oh.
Yeah, this is Wesley Yin-Poole at IGN. Alan Wake 2 is set to receive 2 expansions in 2024. Developer Remedy has confirmed. Expansion 1 is called Night Springs and is currently due out late spring 2024. Although, in a note to IGN, Remedy said that the release window is subject to change. Expansion 2 is called The Lake House, which is yet to receive a release window. Here's the official blurb on Night Springs. Visions and dreams. Fiction is written and coming true. Fiction collapses and remains just words on a page. These are those stories, ... in Night Springs.
Whoa.
Play as several familiar characters from the world of Alan Wake and experience the unexplainable in multiple self-contained episodes of Night Springs, a fictional TV show set in the world of Alan Wake. Sounds cool.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And then here's
So meta.
Here's Remedy's detail on the Lake House DLC. The Lake House is a mysterious facility situated on the shores of Cauldron Lake, set up by an independent government organization to conduct secret research. Interesting.
Yeah.
Independent government organization. Might that be the Federal Bureau of Control?
Potentially.
Until something goes wrong. Explore the Lake House and embark on 2 separate adventures as the realities of Saga Anderson and Alan Wake collide again.
This is awesome.
Yeah. I didn't realize that this game was going to get DLC, so that's really cool.
I guess it's not a surprise because Control had expansions similar to this, right? But I love it, man. I think that it's really cool that we're just in an era that like these big AAA games, like the action adventure type things, whether it's survival horror or something a bit more just like actiony, can have DLC, not have DLC, can have major expansions. Like there's any in between. Like there's just different options. Whereas like I feel like back in the PS3 360 generation, it was kind of like, hey, every game has to have DLC just because. Whereas this feels like, oh, I expect that these are going to be substantial and actually like be worth playing.
Yeah,
you know.
And I wonder how much of it is focused on the crossover because Control got the AWE expansion, the AEW expansion. CM Punk comes out.
Yeah,
and then gets
Control
fired.
is all elite.
God, but yeah, that had like an Alan Wake crossover thing in its expansion, right? And me being very early in Alan Wake, I don't know how much like the quote unquote Remedy expanded universe stuff feeds into the core narrative of Alan Wake 2. But if I get to the end and it doesn't, the DLC is a perfect place to go. All right, Alan Wake 2 is going to be more focused on Alan and Saga, so it feels a bit more tight and like compact. Whereas the DLC is our opportunity to like really get crazy with the expanded universe and go for like really cool crossover stuff. And so like Jesse Faden might be able to show up in Alan Wake DLC and it not feel like a weird thing.
Yeah,
that's exciting.
That's pretty sick, man. And I like that it takes place in a TV show in the world. Like,
dude, that's Remedy. Like, you know, I think often about Quantum Break and how weird that game is, and I never played it, right? But like, just knowing what it is, I'm like, how did they even? Like, first of all, whose idea was this? Second of all, like, y'all took this to the finish line. Like, y'all actually like put this out, and it worked, and it did all that stuff. I got mad respect for Remedy as a studio. Like, nobody's doing it like them.
Yeah,
I appreciate studios that are like, yo, we're doing our own.
Hey, I know we just talked about this a couple stories ago, but like, Alan Wake 2 just got a 10 from GameSpot.
Yeah, that's their fourth 10 of the year.
That's wild. But like, congrats to Remedy. They did it. That's incredible.
And like to even hit like that 90 on OpenCritic, right? Like the fact that we've seen so many of those this year, like a handful of those this year compared to other years. One, still argument that this year is the greatest year ever for video games. But then also, for Remedy to hit that's like fucking exciting, right? Yeah. That's an upward trajectory for that studio. I was gonna ask if you checked out the Separate Ways DLC, but now that I think about it, you've not played RE4, have you?
No, I played on RE4.
The remake?
Yeah. I'm not fully done with it yet, but okay. But I have not played the DLC though.
Gotcha. I want to check out the DLC because that also got really good reviews.
Yeah, but I mean, it's great. It's good stuff.
Yeah. You played it originally, I mean.
Yeah.
I might check it out.
Yeah.
We'll see. Story number 3. Microsoft reorgs its Xbox and marketing teams to prepare for an AI and gaming future. This is Tom Warren at The Verge. Microsoft is reorganizing its Xbox gaming and marketing leadership less than 2 weeks after acquiring Activision Blizzard. Microsoft is promoting Matt Booty to president of game content and studios, including the new responsibility of ZeniMax, and Sarah Bond to Xbox president, overseeing all Xbox platform and hardware work.
Badass.
On the Xbox marketing side, Chief Marketing Officer Chris Capocella is stepping down after 32 years at Microsoft. The Xbox changes mean Matt Booty will now lead an expanded organization inside Microsoft Gaming that now includes ZeniMax and Bethesda. Quote, ZeniMax will continue to operate as a limited integration entity led by Jamie Leader, president and CEO, reporting to Matt, explains Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer in an internal memo obtained by The Verge. Booty's expanded role should help Microsoft Gaming avoid scenarios like Redfall in the future, with Microsoft clearly focusing on better collaboration between the teams it acquired with the ZeniMax/Bethesda acquisition. Bond will now take over the hardware and software platforms of Xbox to manage the platform of today and build the platform of tomorrow. That's such a cool phrase. We are bringing together the teams that will make this possible, explains Spencer. Sarah Bond will lead this team as president of Xbox, bringing together devices, player, and creator experiences, platform engineering, strategy, business planning, data and analytics, and business development. These Xbox leadership changes mean there will be more women in gaming leadership roles at Microsoft than men once Bobby Kotick, CEO of Activision Blizzard, departs at the end of 2023. Right here, Kevin has pulled up what the organization chart right now looks like for Xbox. Yeah, and you have Phil Spencer at the top being the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, but of course, yeah, Sarah Bond being promoted to president, and then Matt Booty being president of game content and studios.
Pretty cool stuff, man. And you know what they're talking about here about avoiding the Redfall stuff and wanting the collaboration between the teams. Like, that's the ultimate goal, and that's the dream that we'd love to see. I hope that it actually gets there. It's going to be very difficult, and I think it's already difficult, as we've seen with Bethesda even being brought into Xbox. Now you add on all of Activision, all of Blizzard, all of King. It's going to be a very, very, very tough couple years, I think.
Yeah. It's going to be a long road for maybe like the next 5 to 10 years when we talk about, like, you know, when we had the big Microsoft leak, one of the things that leaked was all these plans that Bethesda had in the works, from like a new Doom game to like all like Wolfenstein and all these Dishonored, all these things that you imagine is like maybe a 5-year plan, probably beyond that, right? And like you imagine that right now with these changes being implemented for on the Bethesda side of like, oh yeah, they're going to report to Matt Booty and Matt Booty is going to report to Phil Spencer and all this stuff. Like, you think about what Activision already has in the works, and I'm sure Activision already had their next decade planned out, right? Like, as Xbox, you're now adopting that and having to figure out how do we integrate maybe a decade's worth of planning into what Xbox has planned for their next decade. Mm-hmm. And like, they have their work cut out for them, for real.
They really do. And you know, you look at the PlayStation side of things over the last, like, let's just say 10 years of how we've seen them either acquire teams or kind of form the teams that they already had into what they are now, like the rock stars of Guerrilla, for example, of like turning them into a powerhouse, or then the other side, acquisition of Insomniac. And the way that they've kind of like shared tech, or having Herman be the president, and what that meant for PlayStation Studios, and like what it meant for how they view their games, how their games are supported and developed, all of that. You see a lot of wins, right? And I feel like Xbox clearly wants that as well. And I think that they've taken a lot of steps towards that. And I feel like everything that we just read in this story is what I want to hear from this. And again, the proof's in the pudding. We'll have to see how it actually like shakes out, because there's going to be a lot of mistakes. There's going to be a lot of layoffs. There's going to be a lot of mergings and teams moving and like redundancies and a lot of bad stuff. That is happening, and we're going to continue to report on Games Daily, and it's going to suck.
Yeah.
But I do think that they're in a better position than ever to be able to pull this all off. And I think that they're making the right calls here of shaking up the teams in ways that they obviously are thinking about, and obviously are trying to They're doing this to prepare for what we're talking about. They're doing this to be put in the best position to make sure that long-term Xbox Game Studios is putting out the best quality products that they can at the correct timelines that they need to for this industry to continue to exist and thrive without completely crashing.
Yeah. Before we get into our next news story, I want to tell you about patreon.com/kindafunnygames. If you want to see us thrive and us be successful for the next 5 to 10 years, you can go over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can get exclusive shows like Kinda Feudy, like Next Gen Podcast, and more. You can also get the show ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. Do you ever feel like your brain is getting in its own way? I can't even count the amount of nights I lose sleep just because I can't stop thinking and my brain just won't stop talking. It turns out one great way to make those racing thoughts go away is to talk through them. Therapy gives you a great place to do that so you can get out of your negative thought cycles and find some mental and emotional peace. And it can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. Some of my best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself, and it isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapist anytime for no additional charge. You can make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/kindafunny today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny. BetterHelp.com/kindafunny.
And we're back. And Tim, you said you had a question for me.
I have 2 questions for you.
What's up?
One, Kev, if you can bring back the org chart that we were just talking about. A lack of Bethesda here. Why is that?
I mean, I think this is just them talking about Xbox, right? And so, like, I think the idea is that
Bobby's there. And is he only there because he's not going to be in a couple months? But that's weird.
That is interesting. Yeah. I don't know what's up with that, because I would imagine that this would maybe in the acquisition with Blizzard, it was a bit more like we're gonna merge the leadership teams a little bit with it. Whereas like I imagine right now Bethesda/ZeniMax has their own org chart, right? And whoever's at the top of that org chart, I guess, would report to Matt Booty. I don't think that that's how that goes. But with Activision Blizzard, maybe it is like, well, Bobby Kotick is like the lead of this multi-billion-dollar, and I know Bethesda's multi-billion-dollar too, but like $69 billion organization, right? Like the acquisition, I think, is going to come with like some merger aspects to it a bit.
It just, I just think it's interesting to point out there because like obviously we already know that that's where it's at. We know that Matt Booty's above them, and that makes them just kind of like a team underneath Xbox Game Studios. But I feel like looking at this, what I've been saying for a while of like, I think that Bethesda is going to eventually just become like the team as opposed to like something above everybody else. I think is looking more likely than ever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then second question I have for you. This is just more fun, hypothetical stuff. Maybe a little speculating, if you will. Summer Game Fest next year. Xbox does its showcase. Thank you very much.
Speculation
Station, everybody. Xbox Game Showcase. We imagine we'll get one, right? We always get an Xbox thing in the summer. Next year, I don't think will be any different. Do you think the Activision stuff is talked about there?
Define Activision stuff.
I don't know. What do you think? What do you think we get? Like, what is different about Xbox's Game Showcase next June?
Oh, okay. If you want to get exciting, because I think the Activision stuff is talked about before then, right? Like, I think somewhere early next year, I think we do get Call of Duty games on Game Pass, like every Call of Duty game.
I think so too.
I think that happens. I think at E3 or Xbox Game Showcase, whatever you want to call it, I think that's where we start to get the new Call of Duty announced and revealed and like showcased.
Really?
Yeah, I think Call of Duty 2024 appears at Xbox's E3.
Wow.
Because like, why not? Event. How exciting would that be?
I mean, I don't know, because it's coming to other consoles as well. I can see them maybe.
This one's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah.
This one's coming to Game Pass.
I can see it being there, and they'll definitely say that, right, in their showcase. But I can imagine them still wanting Call of Duty to be its own event because it's kind of earned it.
I mean, I think you can do both, right? I think if you do, I think you can make a hype moment out of, if this is the plan, and I imagine this is the plan because this is Xbox's whole thing, right? Like, I think if you come out on the Xbox stage and say, hey, we got a big announcement, right? Like, this year, for the first time ever, Call of Duty is is launching on Xbox Game Pass. The new Call of Duty is launching on Xbox Game Pass. We'll be back in the fall with a Call of Duty event to talk about it. I feel like that's fucking insane.
Blessing, years ago, we were at the old studio, and on Games Daily, the news broke that Xbox announced Game Pass and that its first-party titles will be day and date available to everybody. And we're like, no way they actually commit to that. The next first-party title was Crackdown 3, and we're like, all right, cool, maybe that. Crackdown, but when Halo 3 comes out, when Forza comes out, when Gears comes out, they surely won't be on Game Pass. They fucking were. So many years later, we're now talking about Call of fucking Duty.
Insane, right? I know Jesus says totally insane blessing. Or I guess I didn't know the totally insane blessing. I don't know if that's them calling me insane or if they're saying, "Oh man, that would be so
no, it's
insane."
just insane.
But like,
it's
that's
totally insane,
like,
man.
We expect. Let me ask you this question, right? To make sure I'm not crazy, we expect the next Call of Duty to be on Game Pass, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's fucking insane.
That's fucking insane.
Good for them. You know, we'll see how it pans out for the games industry as a whole. I don't know if it's a good thing overall, but it's a good thing for us saving some money, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, absolutely wild. But yeah, and I think that that would be my prediction. I don't know if you have a prediction, but yeah, I would think quote unquote E3, Summer Game Fest, Xbox Game Showcase. Hey, this fall, for the first time ever, Call of Duty is launching on Game Pass. We'll be back later in the year with a Call of Duty event to celebrate the launch or whatever.
Oh, interesting. I was thinking maybe, well,
because I think that's where you get like the multiplayer breakdowns and like
gameplay
stuff. And you invite all the streamers and rappers.
What do we get outside? Do we get stuff outside of Call of Duty? Is it too early?
See, that's what I'm more curious about is in the way that the last showcases have been like the Xbox Bethesda showcase, right? Like they usually include Bethesda in the title. I feel like Xbox Bethesda Activision is too much for something like that.
That's why I'm thinking they drop the Bethesda. I think it just becomes the Xbox. You get the brand, man. Make everybody. Get everybody saying L.A. Night.
I wonder if there's a reorg, or not a reorg, because we just got a reorg, but I wonder if there's a rebranding that happens. Because right now it's Xbox Game Studios. And we understand what that means, but I feel like we still kind of associate it with, all right, Xbox Game Studios, a little bit different from Bethesda, a little bit different from Activision, right? Like I think you think about Xbox in-house game studios or like original game studios a little bit differently. I wonder if there's a rebranding that is, they're not going to call it this because it's kind of corny, but like Xbox family of studios, like Xbox, whatever the different word is, that does encompass the entire umbrella of Activision, Xbox Game Studios, and Bethesda, and that's how they promote their new showcase.
I want Xbox Game Studios, and I want it to include all of them. Dude, all of them, bless.
It'd be baller. It'd be a baller really thing to do. Somebody in chat says Xbox Mafia. We'll see. For now, though, let's see about Ubisoft.
Let's see. What's Ubisoft up to?
Story
when are we
number
play
4.
Skull and Bones, Wes?
Ubisoft delays Skull and Bones. And an upcoming large game. This is Mark Delaney at GameSpot. As part of Ubisoft's latest earnings briefing, the company announced that its long-in-development pirate game, Skull and Bones, has been delayed again and will now launch during the company's Q4 2023 to 2024, which means it'll launch in the January through March 2024 period. Additionally, Ubisoft said one of its upcoming large games has been shifted to FY 2024-2025, which means it'll launch in April 2024 at the very soonest. Ubisoft didn't say what this game is.
Hold on. So you're telling me that this game, Skull and Bones, got delayed to sometime in the next 6 months still?
Yeah.
January to March?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that we're going to, within 6 months, be talking about this game getting delayed again?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Cool.
Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot said in a statement, quote, "We are excited to bring our future lineup to players and to deliver on our strategy and continue reaching larger audiences and building an increasingly recurring business thanks to major brands and live services." Previously, Skull and Bones was set for release during FY 2024, meaning it was penciled in for release during the period of April 1st, 2023 to March 31st, 2024. Now, Ubisoft has narrowed that window between January and March 2024. The game is in development at Ubisoft Singapore with the help of Ubisoft's network of studios around the world. The game has been in development for years and years already and has reportedly undergone significant changes throughout development. Here's my thing. As I read through this article, I feel like delay might not be the right language here, right? Like they're more so confirming a more specific window that's at the very end of the window that they put out before, right? Because I think March 2024 was already what the expectation was for the latest, right? So like they're narrowing it down. Now, do I believe it's going to come out by March 2024? No.
Yeah.
I don't believe that for a second.
I don't believe it.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. Very interesting that they're also talking about another large game. Like, it's just, Ubisoft's so weird, man. They're so unique that, like, I feel like there aren't other companies that we'd be talking about and just be like, oh yeah, this game that we know about and have heard about for 10 years and an upcoming quote unquote large game.
Well, is that possible that that's Star Wars? Oh, actually, is it possible in Star Wars? Another large game. The idea with Star Wars is supposed to come out 2024, right?
Yeah.
I guess if you were to come out and say, hey, like that's now expected to come out between April 2024 and April 2025, that technically would be you're shifting that. That's a delay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's what they're talking about, or do you think they have another large game? Maybe it's an Assassin's Creed. But Assassin's Creed never comes out in the spring.
Wait. I'm confused here because one of its large games been shifted to fiscal year 24 to 5.
Yeah.
Which means it'll launch in April at the soonest.
Yeah.
So this April.
This upcoming April, yeah.
So it can't be Star Wars then because Star Wars isn't slated. It has to be a game that was shifted from coming out before April 2024.
But here's what I'm saying, right? Is that like right now Star Wars is slated from January 2024 to December 2024, right?
Oh.
If it's shifted to FY, right, that means April to April. So maybe that's a possibility that, hey, Star Wars might come out in the beginning of 2025. Like it's coming out at April at the earliest, right? But now it might come out April 2025 at the latest.
Is there a chance it's Avatar?
Could you imagine?
I can. Very much so, actually.
Actually, I could too. Now that I think about it, yeah, I can see it.
But
that game gets shifted into next year. But also, it's like
I feel like they would have said that if that was the case at this point.
Yeah.
But
speculation station, baby.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Story number 5. Capcom says it's on track for an 11th straight year of growth after strong sales. This is Tom Ivan at VGC. The only reason I'm laughing is that we're talking about this after a Ubisoft story.
I know.
And like the way we talk about Capcom versus Ubisoft is so different.
And hey, to be fair, Capcom had some bad years. And we talked about Capcom the way we talk about Ubisoft. Not the way, but similarly to the way we talk about Ubisoft. So, hey, they can turn it around.
Capcom has said it's on track to achieve 11 consecutive years of operating income growth following a strong first half of its fiscal year. For the 6 months ended September 30th, 2023, the Japanese publisher said, story number 6, PS5 Slim's optional disk drive needs to be connected to the internet to pair it to a console. This is Wesley Yin-Poole at IGN. The upcoming PS5 Slim has popped up online, and with that comes fresh information about how the optional disk drive will work with the digital edition of the console. The Charlie Intel Twitter account published images of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 PS5 Slim Bundle, and eagle-eyed observers noticed a disclaimer that has set the cat among the pigeons within the video game community. Cool. What the fuck is that phrase? They said, well, hold on. Eagle-eyed observers, a lot of animals going on in the sentence, first of all. Eagle-eyed observers noticed a disclaimer that has set the cat among the pigeons.
I get it.
Is that a thing we say?
I mean, I've never heard it, but God, is it accurate?
Set the cat among the. Is it like the imagery of like the pigeons all over the like everything's going crazy?
Everyone's
now
all
cat.
like rough and tumble.
All the feathers are all ruffled. Internet connection, quote, internet connection required to pair disk drive and PS5 console upon setup, end quote. Word that the optional disk drive requires internet connection upon setup has raised game preservation fears. Digital Foundry's John Linneman, a longtime proponent of physical game media, called the move highly concerning and very strange. Hardware connectivity shouldn't be determined by a server that may not always be available, he said. The concern stems from a potential problem years down the line at a time when Sony may have switched its authentication servers off. Perhaps Sony will issue an update at some point to remove the check, but as it stands now, a connection is required.
Yeah, man, this is fucking weird. I don't understand this as a product. This removable disk drive situation. It feels so 2005. Like, I understand that there is a use case for it. I also think that things like this make that use case silly.
Yeah.
Like, if you want the disk drive, buy the disk PS5. And if you don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, well, this might be a kind of funny conversation you're wrong if they talked about it in particular, right? The disk drive PS5, is that not just like the digital version with the disc drive already attached to it? Like, if you buy the new disc drive PS5, could you detach the disc drive if you want to? Like, if that's the case, wouldn't it just work the same way?
That's an excellent question.
That's kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Maybe we won't know the answer until we actually get it, but that's how I imagine it.
Yeah. Because then if that's the case, then you'd also need the internet to play discs on your normal disc PS5. And God, that's the state of the world. The world sucks.
Yeah. My thing with this is, my main concern is what I think what John Linneman is talking about, right? Is like the years down the line when PlayStation moves on from the PS5. You know, we're playing on PlayStation 7. You know, we got our fucking AR goggles that we're using to play that thing. When the PS5 is finally abandoned and PlayStation turns off the servers, does that mean that these authentication servers then get turned off, and now you literally, like, nobody can add in their disk drive or use a disc PS5 because that shit's turned off? And what does that do to game preservation?
Well, it's only for setup.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only the
so you just can't set up new PS5s.
Yeah.
In 2035 when we get there.
Yeah.
Which still is a concern. Like, I think
sure.
That's still a thing. But for what the concern usually is for, like, digital gaming being the future and all that stuff, right? Like, I think usually it's download speeds, and not everybody has access to, like, high speed internet or fast internet or, like, modern internet or whatever. Authentication, I imagine, doesn't need the fastest and best internet. Like, I know not every single person in the world has internet, but I feel like enough people do, where, especially if you're buying a PlayStation, where authentication, at least for now, isn't as much of an issue, especially just for setup.
Yeah, this is more annoying than anything. Yeah. But the problem's going to come when the server's down, which will happen. We have seen it time and time again that's how these things work, and it just sucks that hardware is tied to internet firmware updates or connections or whatever the hell it is. But yeah, all this is really weird.
Really weird. But hey, video games have always been weird.
They have.
And I'm curious to see how long they remain weird in the future. But Tim, that weird future, that strange future is so far away. Mm-hmm. If I want to know what's going on to Mom and Grop Shops today, where would I look?
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily Show host each and every week, too.
Yeah! Wrong 21 in chat just says rough. What a segue. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate chat for always keeping it real. You know?
Yeah.
You guys will never be fake nice to me. Never. Mm-hmm. I appreciate it. Out today, we got Battle Cakes for PC, Dave the Diver for Switch, Frog Detective.
Battle Cakes.
Battle Cakes. What do you think that is?
Oh, you know what I think it is.
Oh. I was thinking like Beyblade with, like, you know, cakes. Put some cakes into arena and they fucking battle. But now that you mention it, good, Kevin, I'm going to need to see a trailer for Battle Cakes. All one word. We also got Frog Detective, the entire mystery for PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord for PSVR 2 and Quest. Ghost Runner 2 for PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. Maneko's Night Market for PS5, PS4, Xbox One. Is this Battle Cakes?
Yeah.
Made by Level 2 Gamers. Oh. So you're playing as a cupcake. And a cupcake has a face.
But it's a cool cupcake.
Yikes. Gum droplins.
Yikes.
You're playing as Red Velvet. Oh. Okay, that cupcake has a crossbow.
Is that a gumdrop? Are you fighting a gumdrop?
Yeah, dude.
Gum droplins.
Gum droplins, baby.
Okay.
Sick. All right, dude. Battle Cakes. Not what I thought, but okay.
Man, people are so creative.
Yep.
It's like, I would never in a million years think to make that video game. Like, you could give me so many years on this planet. You can give me, like, you could turn me into Kang, and I can have, like, fucking multiverses of me and fucking unlimited versions of me. None of them are making that game.
That's true.
I'm gonna make a cupcake, give it a crossbow, have it fight gum droplins.
Gum droplins, baby.
People are so creative. World of Horror is out today for PS5, PS4, and Switch. And then The Unliving is out today for PC. New dates for you. VR hero shooter X8 is coming to MetaQuest and Steam on November 9th. Berserk Recharged launches on Windows PC, PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and Atari VCS on November 9th. Risk of Rain Returns launches November 8th on Switch and Steam. And then Mario Party 3 is coming to Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack on October 27th.
The cowboy one.
That is the cowboy one. That was the one where I'd always get jealous of my friends that they had, because I always had Mario Party 1. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, why does Mario have a cowboy hat on?
Yeah, I need to know.
I need to know
what's
what
the
is
lore.
going on.
How did this happen?
Why did they do that to him? Deals of the day for you. Return of Steam Screamfest is going down. That's Steam's seasonal Halloween sales event. That's here from October 26th through November 2nd. You can get games like RE4 Remake for $39.95. You can get Sons of the Forest for $23.99 and so much more. And then Fist Forged in Shadow Torch and Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion will be free to claim on the Epic Game Store from November 2nd through the 9th. Tim, I got some reader mail for you.
Oh fuck yeah, let's do it.
And I should have put this at the end of actually story number 6 because it has to do with digital only gaming. This is Willie Style 65 who writes into KFGD and says, "As I've gotten older and become a father, I don't have as much disposable income to spend. So around 10 years ago, I signed up to a service in the UK that lets me rent games via the post, like the old Netflix model. The post is what they call the mail, Tim, over in the UK. But this year, I'm missing out on 2 of the biggest games as they're digital-only releases, Baldur's Gate 3 and Alan Wake 2. With the digital-only feature barreling towards us, how long until the majority of big releases go digital-only?"
I think it is so much sooner than people want it to be, man.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's real soon. I think it's going to just continue. Like, Alan Wake and Baldur's Gate, I think, are just 2 examples of giant titles that are going to become more and more frequent in the future. And like, when I say future, I mean next year, the year after that. Like, I think we're going to see like tricklings, and I really think that the majority of games are going to be digital only by next generation, if not entirely.
I think you're right, and it bums me out. I don't like it. Even though I'm a digital only boy, right? Like, I'm mainly playing just digital games. Like, I cannot tell you when I last used a physical thing. I don't know, man. I miss my childhood.
I mean, bro, I get it.
I like physical. There's something nice about it.
People are going to be mad about me as if I'm like championing this. I'm not. I buy more physical games than most people I know, period. Like, I like physical things, and I collect them, and I care about them, and I want them to be nice, and I want them to have their fun collector's editions and steel books and all that stuff. But man, hey, it's over.
Goddamn.
We lost the war.
Tim, now it's time for kindaffunny.com/you're wrong. Rewrite in, let us know what we got wrong, as we got it wrong, so we can correct it for those watching later on YouTube and listening later on podcast services around the globe. Have we done a shit list that is top 10 Mario games?
I'd
like to do that. That sounds like a fun time.
That does sound.
I would like to make our own list for top 10 Mario games.
I mean, I had fun with that.
Yeah,
it'd be a bloodbath.
It's that thing where our top 2 would be the same, probably. Actually, I don't know if our top 2 would be the same. I love Mario 64.
That's my problem. Is I feel like me and you are very similar when it comes to Mario 64.
Yeah.
That our love for that game is unrivaled.
Yeah,
like it's more than any other game, and like, but it's not about is it the best. That almost doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
It is something.
It just means
different.
so much.
Yeah.
It's different and it's fucking great. Ah, man. I have
like,
so many memories attached to it.
So many of the games are great, but it's like, yeah, are so many Mario games better than Mario 64? I think yes, but like that doesn't matter to me. Fuck that.
Like, we asked me like, oh, which one is pound per pound the better game between Mario 3 and Mario 64? I might have to say Mario 3, but I'll still stand Mario 64.
Me too.
I love that game. Okay, that is not a year wrong. Brendan Riley, all right, get out of here with this. Boehner SN says, from Steven Totillo, the delayed Ubisoft game isn't Avatar. It is still slated for December.
Cool.
Kebab says, from Wikipedia, throwing, also putting and setting the cat among the pigeons is a British idiom used to describe a disturbance caused by an undesirable person from the perspective of a group. There's more to that, but it's a longer explanation. Banner SN says, from the Capcom 2020 leak, 3 Resident Evil games have still not been released. There's Resident Evil Outrage, Resident Evil Hank, and Resident Evil Apocalypse.
Interesting. Hank?
It's all about propane, you know?
I think Hank was the tofu.
Wait, is Hank is a character in King of the Hill,
yeah.
right? Okay.
No, Hank Hill. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure Hank in Resident Evil, it's either the tofu or it's just one of the other STARS members. I'm blanking real hard right now.
Boot up the game, Hank Green shows up.
Like, who the fuck is Hank, everybody?
There's Hank Green, there's Hank Hill. Those are the only 2 Hanks I acknowledge.
Like, I'm pretty sure Hank is in RE2. There's like one of the extra modes where it's like a horde mode type thing, and he's like badass, like he survived in the sewers longer than anybody type
Are
thing.
you sure to me?
Hunk. Yes, hunk. That's what I was throwing off.
Do you think this is a typo, like they meant to say Hank? Or do you think it really is a game called Resident Evil Hank? Where he plays a man named Hank and he's a regular dude?
Oh my fucking god.
That'd be like calling it Resident Evil Ethan. It's like nobody wants to play that shit.
Oh, I don't want to be Ethan Winters.
I don't want to be Ethan Winters. God, I hated Ethan Winters so much, and I'll talk about that during the stream, and chat would get so mad at me. Oh, you're being so mean to Ethan Winters. I'm like, look at him,
dude.
Look at him.
Ethan Winters fucking sucks.
He's the worst.
Like, legitimately, like maybe the worst video game character, like protagonist of all time.
It's like, get it together, my guy.
God, figure it out.
Your
man.
fingers. And then that is it for kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Tim?
Bean says we've been talking about Hank for a good 2 minutes.
So he says, what about Gabe Logan? I have nothing against Gabe Logan. That's Andy Cortez. That doesn't like Gabe Logan. And Ethan, though, get him out of here. Tomorrow's hosts are going to be Tim and Greg Miller. Ooh, that means I can play some Alan Wake 2 on my desk. This, of course, has been Kinda Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames and twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. Until next time, Game Daily. And we're back.
Yo, what the heck is going on, everybody? Welcome to your Super Chat Primetime Post Show with me, Snowbike Mike. And you're probably saying to yourself, Snowbike Mike, why are you just a voice, not on the screen? Because we're going to reset the set, boys. So that means you two get out of my way. Okay. Kevin and the big dogs are coming in to reset for some Ghostbusters VR.
Fun. So are we
dismissed?
We're done?
I'll handle it. Well, I think Blessing's good. You and I can hang, Tim.
Okay,
you can
cool.
hang with me just because he's got to get ready for VR mode.
Love that.
So why don't you come hang out with me, Tim?
Okay.
We'll get you on the microphone and we'll clear some space for them to be able to work. But, of course, welcome in, everybody, to your post show with me, Snowbike Mike, and one Tim Geddes. We're excited to talk with all of you. I want to give a couple of big shout-outs before we start. Of course, last night we had an awesome event with the community over at Square Pie Guys, where we got to have a fun Greg Miller meet and greet with the whole Kinda Funny crew and all of you best friends here in the Bay Area to, of course, help support those big, beautiful kids all around the globe for Extra Life. Of course, if you buy a Square Pie Guys Kinda Funny edition pizza, all of those proceeds are going their way to those incredible, beautiful, big, beautiful kids. And, of course, all those ticket sales went over to Extra Life as well. But yo, it's me checking in with all of you. I'm ready to check out some super chats and, of course, shout out some people who are resubscribing. Of course, if you showed up last night, thank you for coming in and saying hello to us and hanging out with Tim, Greg, Nick Scarpino, Roger was there, and so many more. Let's give a shout out over on the Twitch side first. Okay, that's great. Let's give a shout out right now to the Twitch side of things first with my good friend CK Cody with the Prime Gaming sub for 56 months. Hybrid Theory 88 for the Prime Gaming sub for 17 months. Witcho 17 for the Prime Gaming sub for 64 months. Stingray for the Prime Gaming sub for 11 months. And Cyberpunk Box for the Prime Gaming sub for 9 months. Says Duke Nukem and Bones. What you know about Duke Nukem and Bones? What's up with that?
Bones, I don't know.
Okay, you know about Duke Nukem? Remember Duke Nukem?
Oh, yeah, dude. He's all out of bubble gum.
Man,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. What a time.
What a time,
They
man.
tried to bring him back.
They did.
Didn't work.
Did not work.
So R.I.P. Duke Nukem forever, you think? There's no way they ever bring back Duke Nukem, right?
Yeah, forever. There we go.
Forever.
Duke Nukem forever. I'd be surprised if we see Duke back at any point. You know what I mean? I feel like it's more likely we see our boy Conker. You know?
I like that. What about Duke Nukem as like a Mortal Kombat character?
That could be super
You
fun.
know what I mean? Like, like maybe a Killer Instinct comes back and Duke Nukem can show up there.
That'd be fun.
You know what I mean?
I don't want Duke Nukem to totally die. I like him as like a legacy, like that's what 90s gaming was.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Keep him around kind of like as a fun mascot character almost. But yeah, it's hard to get right.
Let's give a shout out to Mr. Rhino with the follow over on Twitch right now. Reading off some Twitch resubs before I get over to you, YouTube super chatters. Crumb Keys resubscribes with Prime Gaming for 22 months, says, yes, now, let's effing go. Don't forget that you can use your Prime Gaming sub anytime with us here on twitch.tv/Kinda Funny Games. If you or a family member or a friend have Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming, one free sub each and every 30 days you can use right here to keep the lights on, the mics on, and help Tim, myself, and the team continue to grow this incredible small business.
Cameron Kennedy says, I think that Duke Nukem comes back and a small indie team makes a game and it's bad and then he goes away forever. Cam, I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
that sounds so
Sounds about
accurate.
right. Yeah, exactly. That sounds like something that could happen. Let's continue on because we got a bunch. Faint Aphid with the Prime Gaming sub for 75 months. Ryan Poalo Higgins with the resub for Prime Gaming for 28 months. He says, Tim, what's the next big title you want to be the lead reviewer on?
That's a great question. Probably Mario RPG.
Okay.
I think. No, Resident Evil. Sorry, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Of course, right around the corner. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is right around the corner.
Right around. Tim, that's February, my friend.
That's scary, dude.
Right around the corner.
Yeah. Oh, Prince of Persia.
That's another. That's
a lot
dope.
of Tim games coming out, man.
I like that.
I'm pretty excited. This year, though, I think is starting to wind down for me. Like we got Mario RPG.
Okay.
There's a couple of games I'm hoping to go back to. I'm hoping to over like the next couple months. I want to play Phantom Liberty.
Okay.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, of course.
Bless and Andy have both been like, Tim, this is your shit. So I want to check that out. They're kind of selling me on Alan Wake. I don't know. I want to give it a shot for sure, but like, I don't know if I have that in me right now. I'm still making my way through Mario Wonder, trying to 100% it.
Love that.
And real close.
I love that. Love that.
I did just an update for everybody. I've now 100%ed all of the game except for the special world. So I have one special world done. The rest of the levels unlocked. I just haven't got into them yet.
There you go,
people. I
people.
feel that's going to take a little bit.
Now you know. I will pause on the Twitch side of things. We'll come back to you. Let's jump over to YouTube, who has a number of super chats right there. 007 Golden Lion with the $2 super chat says, BG3 was my goatee until Act 3. Now it's Mario Wonder.
Wow.
Okay, I like that. Very
God,
cool.
The way people talk about Act 3 of Baldur's Gate 3 as if it's like the worst thing ever, it feels so weird to me. I'm like, there's just something about that I'm like, I don't believe it. I don't know.
Street Shadow writes in with the $10 super chat and says, on the topic of Zenny/Bethesda, that's ZeniMax for you, they are under Matt Booty now. ABK seems more similar to how Bungie is under SIE and not PS Studios. Bungie CEO reports to SIE CEO, Sony employee here.
Yeah, that all adds up and makes sense. I just think that within a couple years, I think that there's going to be reorgs to make it that Xbox is the top dog, and it's going to then go under. I think Bethesda and its teams and Activision and its teams are just going to become Xbox Game Studios teams. They might be renamed. There might be an Activision team. I don't know. But I can see it.
I agree with that, Tim. I think we're seeing now with ZeniMax and Bethesda starting to get a foothold on that of like, how does this really need to work, right? At first, they were like, hey, we're going to kind of be hands-off. We're going to let you do you from your marketing side of things, game publishing. We don't want to be all up on it, but I think they learned after Redfall, we kind of have to get a little more grasp on the reins here and be a little more involved, and that's why you're seeing that. I think Activision Blizzard will be the exact same thing, right? Couple of years of, hey, let's see what you got. Okay, now we're back involved. We're also looking at Bobby, right? Like that will happen pretty quick here, and then we'll see a brand new restructure right after that, I'm sure. Let's keep it going right now. Street Shadow with the $5 super chat says, clarity on the optional disk drive and internet connection. I believe this is a legal requirement with the FTC or some U.S. legal body.
Makes sense with the DMCA stuff. Still just like sucks.
Macho Man, the real estate pro, with the $10 super chat says, man, playing through the polished Cyberpunk 2.0 and DLC, just wow. Honestly, don't see anyone who's actually played it not seeing how it's so effing good. So it can break any rules and be a GOTY nomination along with Alan Wake 2, BG3, and TOTK.
Good for them, man.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be a GOTY nomination?
I mean, for the Game Awards, not a chance.
Phantom
Cyberpunk
Liberty?
2,
Yeah.
Liberty, there's a chance.
Okay.
I don't think it's likely, but I do think that there's a chance. But I feel like I think that Cyberpunk 2.0, whatever you want to call it, will be awarded Game of the Year from somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think it's going to be like a mainstream common pick.
CJ writes in with the $2 super chat and says, hot take, both 2D Zelda and 2D Mario over 3D.
I don't think that's a hot take at all.
Okay.
That's a very valid take.
Okay.
Like, I mean, we're talking about some of the best games ever, both 3D and 2D. So it's like, I feel like that's the type of thing of like, it's personal preference at a certain point of which one you prefer, but they're incredible.
Kebabs writes in with the $5 super chat and said, should a lack of accessibility options affect a game's score or disqualify it from a 10 out of 10 GOTY nom?
I mean, I think that, again, Game of the Year it doesn't mean anything. So so the people that care about that stuff, that you review that way, and more people should care, and all that stuff should come together in ways that it's not currently. But I feel it's more about the conversation than anything. But affecting the scores, I mean, scores are all personal. Like, it's individual stuff. So if the individual feels like that stuff should affect the review, then yes, it 100% should.
We are getting about halfway through our Super Chat Primetime Post Show with myself and Tim Geddes as we prepare for a very fun virtual reality stream, which I'll tell you what, Tim, I cannot wait. I've been jumping on that MetaQuest 3, and I am blown away by it. I cannot wait to talk more about it and share my thoughts, but I'm really excited because we're halfway through, and here's a quick reminder that you can, of course, get involved over on YouTube. You can Super Chat with any dollar amount with your questions, comments, concerns, or just ask myself and my boy Tim any sort of fun questions. And, of course, if you're over on Twitch, don't forget if you resubscribe at the tier 1 through 3 level or for free with Prime Gaming, I'll read your resub message, and we'll talk all about it. Cozy Bear writes in with a $7 super chat and says, hey, Tim, have you had the chance to recheck out Donkey Kong Country 3 as of recent?
I wish, but there's been too much to play. I promise I'm going to play that game. Give it another shot, because I've talked a lot of shit over the years, Mike. I'm a huge fan of Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2. I think is one of the best 2D platformers of all time. Obviously, Tropical Freeze I talk about a lot, but I've talked a lot of shit about 3 because it's my memory of that game is it's all the things I like least about the Donkey Kong Country games, and taking away some of the stuff I like most in terms of like how the characters play and all that. But Cozy Bear and a couple people out there as well have the Flannel Death, I think is the other one, have been like, Tim, you're fucking wrong. DKC rips. So I need to check it out.
Going down, up next, Shadowless Pokemon with the $10 super chat says, hey, Tim, wanted to get your thoughts and hype levels for Game Freak's upcoming project, Bloom.
0.
Oh, wow. 0. Okay.
Game Freak, man.
So Game Freak, Pokemon people, right?
Yeah.
So why are you not excited about their upcoming project?
I've never liked anything they've done that's not Pokemon.
So this isn't a Pokemon Bloom whatever project. This is, hey, we're doing something totally different.
Yeah.
Give me a couple of examples of things that they've done that aren't Pokemon-related products.
There was a game called Town, I think.
Okay. Not good. Not your
my
vibe.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Just
okay.
Yeah.
All right. I like that.
You need to fix Pokemon. Figure that out.
Bander SN writes in with the $5 super chat says, I'm 2 hours from SF, but I had a 3-hour grad school lecture and couldn't make the meetup. If I'm in SF and get the KF pizza, will it still go to charity?
Yes.
A portion of the Kinda Funny Square Pie Guys Pizza Pie purchase will go to our Extra Life Foundation throughout the month, I believe is how that's said.
Yeah.
A portion of it, correct.
Yes.
Citizen Chang writes.
God.
What? Yeah, he looks okay. He looks really good. Citizen Chang with the $5 super chat
to see Nick.
says, "Let's see the hot dog in the string bit." I mean, if only Andy did it. You know what I mean? If only Andy did the hot dog in the string bit. But I did it. I did it yesterday for the people. Chris D writes in with the $5 super chat and says, "Please rank these potential tour guides: Link in Hyrule, V in Night City, Odin in Asgard, Peter Parker in New York. Thanks for everything."
I mean, I feel like Pete's the one that's going to bring you to the best spots for
Peter
sure.
Peter Parker in New York is going to web you around and sling you around.
Yeah,
you're going to have the best time.
Yeah. Link's going to suck. He ain't talking.
But he doesn't talk. Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Real quick, just a heads up.
V in Night City is going to be lit because we're going to put a chip in us and get weird.
Cavutanos?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, you're going to see, the screen's going to change, but they can't see that. I'm just showing that to other people.
Okay. Sounds good. And then Odin in Asgard.
That'd be fun.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
I like that.
Could get bad though. It's like CD location.
Arturatron Robo Bartender with the $10 super chat says, Snowbike Mike, you were robbed. Baldur's Gate 3 is a GOATY contender and will be on many top 3 lists in 2023. You should be given BG3 for the game draft. Justice for Mike. Yeah, that was a big, point of contention. I'm not going to lie. I saw the writing in the air. I saw the future, and they wouldn't let me pick it because it had already been out, Tim, as a game preview build. We're not gonna hold it against.
I think it's bullshit.
Here's the deal.
Dude.
Let's not say anything, Tim. But my 2 gaming dads aren't really helping me. I'll give love to Parris because Parris tries. But I guess me and Parris should look at one of the gaming dads and be like, he doesn't really try here. So it's washed.
Yeah,
it's a wash.
I
me
get
and
it,
Parris tried our best. That's all that matters.
I personally feel like you deserve it because you were the first person I ever heard talk about Baldur's Gate 3 besides Hunter.
Oh, my guy Hunter.
He loves
God,
this
he's
shit.
so cool. He's doing a fun charity event this Sunday where they're going to go pick up trash and celebrate Halloween.
I saw that.
Yeah. I want to RSVP to that one, so I'll have to keep an eye out. No, it's somewhere up in Marin, I believe. John W. writes in with the $5 super chat, says, would you rather wrestle 1 Greg-sized PS5 or 5 PS5-sized Greg Millers? 1 Greg Miller
5
size.
PS5-sized Gregs. I feel like Greg's greatest asset is his size.
So you want to wrestle 5 PS5s of that size?
Or you can wrestle. I could take down. There's a PS5 right in front of me. Like, if there was 5 Gregs that size, I think I have a much better chance than.
So no, he says 1 Greg-sized PS5.
Oh wait.
So it's super tall, or 5 PS5-sized Greg Millers. So you fight 5 Gregs that are the size of this PS5, or 1 PS5 that's the size of Greg.
Hold on, PS5 can't fight back.
It's got no arms. Well, it could flop on you. You got to remember, it could flop on you.
I mean, but if it's just as big as Greg,
yeah, I would destroy that. Yeah. I'd rip its face places off so fast. Can I be honest with y'all? I talked a lot of smack about the PS5 faceplates.
Of course,
and it was deservingly so because no one really had a perfect tutorial on how to do that, and it always felt clunky pulling them off. It never felt good until recently, where I put the PS5 Spider-Man ones on. And I finally found the tutorial that explained it perfectly of like, here's where it's at. I watched multiple YouTube videos where all of a sudden I'm sweating pulling these off. I finally find the correct one, and it's a breeze. It's just a quick snap, and it felt so good.
That's so funny.
So shout out to those slappies out there, you know what I mean? Come on.
Pull up in the corner and pull down.
Let me tell you what, Tim, I was sweating, okay? I'm lucky this PS5 didn't snap in half the time, bro. It's unbelievable. We have so much more to get through, and we got plenty of time, so there's no rush. Let's continue on with Go Delta 716, who became a YouTube member for 5 months. Thank you for using that YouTube membership, getting those channel emotes and supporting the team over here. Tim wasn't at the Square Pie Guys meetup, but remember at KF World Tour NYC when we all ended up at the wrong location and had to take the subway together?
I will never forget.
Get out of town. When did that happen?
It was me and a group of like 15 best friends who were like, yo, we were at the wrong location for this bar. And we got on the subway and had to fucking book it. That was awesome.
Chris 6 with a lot of X's, which I love. $20 super chat says, hey, blessing, Tim and Mike. I hope you are having a great day. I love all the content and appreciate all your hard work. If you were trying to enter the games industry in 2024, how would you go about doing it, Tim?
Ooh.
I think there's a lot of great options. Like a really cool one is we met a Kinda Funny best friend yesterday at the Square Pie Guys meetup who was celebrating the opportunity that he just received a job offer from Respawn.
Yeah.
And he went to school for that, took an internship, and now has received a job. I think that's an awesome story, right? Like the big one is you. Oh, here comes Greg.
Told me everything is going to happen. They're going to tell me everything's going to happen in Jedi Survivor 3. They're calling it Jedi, Star Wars Jedi. I'm a fucking badass.
Yeah, dude. That's what it is.
Yeah. A lot of mumbles in that. There's going to be some capitals. There's going to be some lowercase. It's going to be all over the game. Yeah. Kind of Funny games. They donated $100 on here too. Well, Miss Envy, I'm still getting to that, so I will keep an eye out for that one. But I think there's a lot of options,
There definitely
Tim.
are.
It really
It's
depends on
hard.
what you want to get into.
Yeah.
Right? Are you on the game dev side? Are you an artist? Are you a sound designer? Do you want to program things? If you're doing that, you should go to school, pursue that kind of education. Are you on the opposite side where you maybe want to write a blog post about things? Like Janet does an incredible job with her blog. You can follow stuff like that. Greg Miller does a Greg Way podcast every single day. You could start practicing with that.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think going to school for the more technical aspects of game design is definitely the way to go on that side. There's also the indie front, which I am always going to be a big proponent of. Teach yourself if you have interest. Use YouTube. Find out how to do things. Make a game at home and put it out there. Put your marketing skills to the test and all that, and like make your own success. That's very hard, but I think that kind of puts you in control of it all. I think the big problem with where we're at currently is when other people are in control, limited opportunities. I think there's simultaneously more and less opportunities than ever right now because there's more games being made, which means there's more people working on games, but it also just means there's more kind of demand and more people that wanting to do it. Whereas back in the day, it's not like there was a bazillion college courses on how to do game design or different elements of like whether it's animation or writing or all that stuff. Now there are. Every school has it. So it's just like there's just more people that are trying. So that makes it easier. It makes it harder.
Yeah, I like that, Tim, as well. I mean, there's so many awesome opportunities and avenues to get into it, right? If you want to be a Twitch streamer, I think it's as easy as ever to be able to turn on a Twitch stream and be able to jump in front of the camera and have some fun, or go no cam if you so well desire. But that also goes down to consistency, right? You guys have said it so many times. You got to first just try, start, and then once you find that you enjoy it, if there's something you like, find a consistent schedule, stick to it, no matter what the numbers are, no matter who's there. Could just be your mama or your dad. Have some fun, enjoy yourself, and then you'll grow from there. But you got to stay consistent.
And that's the thing where it's like, obviously, just because you do it doesn't mean it's going to work.
Yep.
But if you don't do it, it won't work.
Correct.
That's for sure. And like, you are obviously such a great example of this. Just like, I bet there's so many people out there that don't know how long you've been streaming, how your podcast with Tom Bach,
with Tom Bach, yeah. Oh my God, shout out to Tom Bach.
You put in you did it, like you really did it, and you tried so many different things. And when something wasn't working, you pivoted, you tried longer until you realized like what to fix, what not to fix, all of that. I don't know, man. It's very impressive, but I do think that it's a perfect example of like if you put your mind to it, it could happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for Chris, who also is on the Twitch side of things, which everybody has counted out right there, has used the Hype Chat feature for $100. So, Chris, thank you so much for your donations. But most importantly, Chris, find out what you want to do. Let's start there. You start at square one, and then you go attack and you have some fun. Try, fail forward, as everyone says, and try again for sure. And also remember, a number of us, didn't start as a full-time job. It was a passion project. It was a secondary job. It was something that you did in your off time. The hustle is real. You got to have the hustle. You got to keep trying, Chris. So best of luck to you. Let us know what you do and what you're interested in, and we'll keep an eye out there.
And I mean, dude, the biggest thing, real talk, it's networking. And like people don't want to hear it, but that's it's simply the truth. And you just being around other people and being good, I think being a good person, being cool, being fun, all that stuff goes a long way, because when opportunities come up and people are like, oh, we're looking for a writer, we're looking for a streamer, we're looking for a PR person, they're like, oh, that person.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And so you can go to meetups, you can go to like, there's so many like gamer trivia nights or like just game dev little soirees. I don't fucking know. But, like, you can find this stuff pretty easy, and there's again more than them than ever. And it's hard to put yourself out there, but that's how things get done.
Yeah, I love seeing Roger continue to grow and blossom, because Roger, kind of a shy guy. But when you put Roger in the room and you tell him, hey,
baby.
go
From shy
out
to
there
shine.
and smile and meet somebody new, he does it, right? And I'm always impressed by that. So shout out to my guy, Raj. Let's give some shout outs before we get out of here. Uncle Death with the resub for Prime Game for 31 months. We got the Ferg man right there with Prime Gaming stuff for 17 months. Says, Mike, when are you finishing Kingdom Hearts 1? I would say that would happen maybe next week if we have some extra time, or the week following. But I'm excited to finish this.
You're close,
I'm
dude.
very close. And then we look at Kingdom Hearts 2. But I'm fully committed to this. This is not something we're going to make it 90% of the way and then give up. We got to finish this.
I'm so excited.
We got to see what's up with Ricky.
There are what's up with Ricky?
What's up with Ricky? Ricky's got a good heart, but I'm a
does,
little
man.
worried that it's tainted by the darkness. You know what I mean? Like,
this.
what am I going to do with Ricky? I don't know. You know what I mean?
There are moments in Kingdom Hearts 2 that I cannot wait for you to see.
I hope, do they have a dope beat? Because I'll tell you what, that opening beat is so good.
I don't think anything will ever top Simple and Clean just because it's so iconic.
The first one.
The first one.
Okay, really? Okay.
But
okay.
On a personal level, I think I prefer the second one more.
Wow.
The opening of the second game is a absolute banger.
Oof. Mr. Rhino, my guy, has also followed and now used his Prime Gaming sub with us for the first time. Shout out to Mr. Rhino. Davey Mack with the resub of Tier 1 for 14 months. Thank you, Davey Mack. Bad Clay Fly, thank you for the Prime Gaming sub for 62 months. Says, Mike, shine a flashlight up at your face like you're telling stories in the dark. Shout out to Kevin for always working the camera and also getting the set done for the big stage here. Brian with the Prime Gaming sub for 6 months. Says, awesome to meet you all last night. Great chats, great pizza, all for those big, beautiful kids. Tim, delicious pizza.
So good.
Oh, my gosh.
What a great event, man. That was perfect.
Awesome
Perfect.
event. Incredible best friends here in the Bay Area, near and far. A couple of best friends drove from Utah out there. A couple flew out from Austin, Texas,
So cool.
and beyond. So really great to be around you. I think that's one of
Scotland.
those. Wow.
Yeah.
One
He
of
didn't
those-
fly just for, he came to TwitchCon.
Oh,
But
of course, TwitchCon.
he
Yeah,
then came from Vegas to us.
One of those special ones where it's just nice to see everyone. You know what I mean? It's nice to start getting back out there and seeing the team and seeing the best friends out there. Let's finish it off with our final 3 before we say goodbye for Games Daily. Guy V with the Tier 1 sub for 47 months. Thank you, Guy V. Clammy Money with the Tier 1 sub for 93 months says, is BG3 easy to get into for someone who doesn't really play games like it? I mean, I'll answer that. It is. I do believe that it is easy. I think it's something fun because this was something we did before D&D, so I wasn't accustomed to dice rolling. I have played XCOM before, and I feel like you got some XCOM X, right? Like where you move the pieces on a chessboard and they kind of move forward, and you pick what they do in a turn-based situation. But I do think that BG3 is a welcoming experience for friends to be able to jump in and have some fun with. Do you ever think you'll try it?
No.
I mean, I think it's so big, it's a little scary, you know what I mean? But, man, is it fun. It's a really good time. I think it's worth it.
She said so big it's scary.
Which one do you think that is? I want to say RG Lane, but I don't think that's it. What do you think? Agent Lane? It's got an R.
Yeah, I don't know. That's hard.
It's always fun.
Arget Lamb 4E.
Oh,
I don't know.
I liked it at the beginning, and then the end you didn't stick. I didn't like
That's what it is. Arget Lamb 4E.
I didn't love the ending there. Thank you for your resub. Thank you to everybody tuning in and having some fun. Of course, that's Tim Geddes. I'm Snowbike Mike. This has been Kinda Funny Games Daily for this lovely, incredible Thursday. We're going to say goodbye, and we're going to kick it right back to the big set for a very fun VR stream, which I'll tell you about in just a couple of moments. If you're watching live on Twitch, you don't got to go anywhere. If you're watching over on YouTube, there will be a brand new link for you to jump in and have some fun. We'll see you over there in just a couple of minutes. Goodbye.